moves will take the rook on b8 for free. So b2 pawn, opponent doesn't want to take. The seventh question, how can I advance? We come back to it if there is no obvious answer to any of our previous questions. And in this case here we have a good plan. One of the questions has an answer with help of tactic. Can you find it? Well, here we have 4 pawns against 3. If you said let's play rook b1 and then play b4, b5 and push our pawns, because here on the queen side we are stronger, we have 4 against 3, and in the future when these pawns will be exchanged, there will be the c passed pawn, defended passed pawn with a d4 pawn. This is a very good and logical plan, but it has a problem. If you play now rook b1, if the opponent is smart, they can prevent us and stop playing b4 by either playing a5 and controlling the b4 square, or themselves playing queen b4. At the same time attacking the d4 pawn, and we can forget about playing b4 in the near future. However, with the help of tactic, we can address this same question. Which side of the board do we want to play? Yeah, we want to play on the queen side, but we can play here b4 immediately. The motive is the same. Black cannot take the b4 pawn, because after rook b1, we are going to win the rook on b8. Otherwise, the next move we achieve what we wanted. We play b5 and play on the queen side where we are strong. If black plays a6, now we can play rook b1, then b5. We can even play queen e2, attack the a6 pawn, then b5. Anyway, here we have a very clear plan on the queen side, which we got by help of tactic. We had strategy, we want to play on the queen side, we want to play b4, b5, and your tactic came to help and said, hey friend, you can play b4 now. Champions, congratulations! Now you know the 7Q method, what for were the stars in the cover image and what for was the moon. Remember, strategy and tactics always go together. You can keep this image of 7 stars and the moon in your mind to help you never forget about tactics. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next sections, where we will apply your newly acquired knowledge, the 7Q method, on many examples. See you there. Now you play with white pieces. How would you continue? Please pause the video and think. Alright, let's go through our 7 questions. The first question, what problems does the opponent have? The opponent doesn't have any serious problem. The only small problems they have is that they have here pawns on the light square and the king is on the dark squares, and there might be checks with this long diagonal. It would be fantastic for black if they had here a bishop on f6, which would cover the king. Well, but in this case, black doesn't have it, and yeah, we can give this queen c3 check, but it doesn't give us much. For example, black king goes to g8, we cannot really use these dark squares. If we had the bishop on b2, yeah, of course, together with the queen and bishop, it would create problems. But in this case, king doesn't have that big problems. The next question, what problems do I have? Well, here we have a serious problem. We have a c2 backward pawn. Also, we have a problem with the c4 weak squares. This pawn is on b4, it cannot retreat to b3 and defend the c4 square, and we don't have a pawn on the d file that could cover it. But this is our biggest problem. The third question, where I am strong, which side of the board? Well, we are not strong in any side of the board. Not in the king side, not in the queen side, not in the center. The fourth question, which of my pieces could be happier? Well, almost all of them. Queen is passive on the first rank, the knight is passive, the rook doesn't do anything. This rook on d1 does something, it's better than other pieces. But anyway, it's blocked with d5 and d6 pawn, so it's not very effective. The fifth question, which pieces do I want to trade? Well, there is no obvious answer to it, because no matter what piece we exchange, we still are going to have problem with our backward c2 pawn. The sixth question, what's the opponent's next move or plan? Well, they are going to pressure with the c half pawn file against our c2 weak pawn. They will double their rooks on the c file, for example, rook c8, rook c7, rook e c8. Queen can attack the c2 pawn from a4, and all the time we are going to struggle with it. If we defend this pawn with the knight, black will exchange it with playing knight b5 or knight f5, and this c2 pawn will create problems all the game for us. Okay, so the seventh question, how do I advance? We come back only if we don't find an answer to the first 6 questions, which happens rarely. And in this case, I will help you a bit. If you don't want to host the video and right away, try to find a good plan. Okay, and if you didn't, I will help you a bit. The second question, what problems do I have, has a solution. We can get rid of our weak backward pawn on c2 and the problematic c4 square with help of tactic. Can you find the strong move white has here? Okay, if you said we can play here c4, great job. Initially it seems we cannot because here black has 2 pieces controlling the c4 square. But we can, using opponent's open king and this file. If black takes knight c4, what do we play? How do you exploit this pin? Okay, if you had queen c3 check, and the next move we take the c4 knight, great job! Now you win a piece, and if black takes your queen, no problem, you take the opponent's one. After c4, if black takes this pawn with d pawn, well, now we play queen d2 trying to exploit this pin and win this knight. It doesn't work because black can just defend the knight and the next move their queen. However, after dc4 we can use the same topic, queen c3 check, and after king retreats, take the c4 pawn, using that the knight is pinned. And here we solved our problems. We don't have a backward pawn, we don't have a weak square, and everything is okay for us. If you didn't play c4, then you would struggle all the game with this c file and with this c2 pawn. And if you said c4, great job. Let's go to the next example. We play with the black pieces, and with their last move, white played f4. How would you continue? Please pause the video and think. Okay, what problems does the opponent have? There is no something very serious. With f4 they weakened a little bit the g4 square, and if we had a knight on g4 that would be great, but the knight is very far from it. The bishop on c3 is a little bit limited with these dark squares. But if the next move white plays f5, they can easily remaneuver their bishop to d2 and then g5, and it would be a good, fine bishop. The third question, which side of the board we are strong? We are stronger on the queen side. If you have 4 pawns against 3. The next question, which of our pieces can be happier? Well, all of our pieces are not feeling good. The rook on f8 is passive limited with the f7 pawn, the queen is on the last rank, the rook on a7 doesn't do much, and the knight as well on c7 is very passive. Next question, what are the pieces do we want to exchange? Well, white is going to play f5 and organize attack against our king, so it would not be bad to exchange the queens. Maybe the rooks as well, because our rooks are passive than opponent's rooks. With f5 move, both their rooks will have more place to maneuver than our passive rooks. We'll come back to that again. And the next question, what's the opponent's next move? In this case, opponent's next move and plan is very clear and it's very dangerous at the same time. The next move, white is going to play f5 and then f6. Our king is gonna be mated very soon after that. The g file will be opened, queen can come to g file, the rooks can come to g file, the bishop can join the attack, so we will be dead. So here in this position, we have a serious upcoming issue. Opponent's next move, these questions should be addressed. Now I offer you to pause the video and think again how we should continue. Okay, if you wanted to address the question what are the pieces you want to exchange and offer a move like queen d7 or queen c8, both are logical to exchange the queens. But if the opponent is smart, they will not exchange the queens and they will continue their plan with f5. Yes, they will not play f6 because it will allow queen exchange, but they can move the queen and then f6. So we need to stop this f5 move. And we can do that by help of tactic, by playing f5 ourselves. White cannot go with en passant and take the pawn, because the rook on e2 is undefended. And when white cannot take the pawn, suddenly we stop all white's plans on the king side and that dangerous upcoming attack. There is no f5, there is no g4, two our pawns are guarding that move. The only downside that the f5 move has is that we allow the opponent to have a passed pawn which is connected. However, there is a good news. The next move we are going to place our knight on e6 in a dream square. The knights are the best blockers of the passed pawns. If there was a rook, the rook would be limited, but our knight doesn't have any limitation. It anyway plays all the board. Next, we are going to activate our pieces and we are going to play on the side of the board where we are stronger. And we are stronger on the queen side. 4 pawns against 3, remember? We can organize playing c5. Why did I say organize? Because if we play now c5, after the c5, would be great if we could take with the pawn and then we push these pawns. However, now the a5 pawn is undefended. That's why we can organize it. For example, we can play queen a8, so the a5 pawn is defended, and also in the future the rook can come to d8 or c8. Then we can play c5. And then we will continue our plan on the queen side, where we are stronger. And most importantly, after f4, when white had this dangerous threat f4, f5, f6, we stopped it by using tactic. En passant is not possible because of the pin.